Hey guys, what's going on? It's Alexander Williamson and the secret Shanna living on my couch. Aquarium. No, it's an aquarium. So today we have a special guest and we're both dressed up. Me very lazily. I'm a planaria. It's a detritus worm if I look like this, and it's a planaria if it's a triangle head. Shanna, I'll let you describe your lovely costume.
I'm an axolotl.
Right on. And so she can breathe both underwater and above water. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Right
I
on.
can gulp air and use it to float around my tank, or I can burp it all out and just derp down to the bottom.
Right on. So we need to do a sound check for the audience. How does everybody think we sound and look? I mean, other than ridiculous. Like, are we loud? Are we quiet? You want to do a mic check also, Shanna?
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. All right. I think people will probably complain if we start sounding crazy than normal. But this will be a fun show. I mean, Shanna is a friend of mine and friend of the Fish Fam, obviously. I'm sure a lot of you guys know her. But tonight, she's going to tell us some stuff about axolotls. And not technically fish, obviously. But, I mean, it's fish adjacent, just like shrimp and dwarf frogs and clawed frogs and things like that. So, you know, it's an animal that I know a lot about the geography, history, and sociology attached with its conservation, but I don't know a ton about taking care of them. I have never kept one for more than just a short while to take some pictures and when friends were out of town and stuff. So I would love to get a rundown on them, but before we do that, I also wanted to let folks know that this Friday I will have Dan Connor on the show from Select Aquatics, or is that what it's called? No, it's not Select. It's it's a group. It doesn't matter what it's called right now because it's a group that wholesales to other people, but it's a group of farmers that sell wholesale and they grow fish in Florida and they have for generations. It's kind of the old salt of the earth. Literally, they have high TDS and salty earth in Florida. Growers of angelfish and rams and various tetras and things too, guppies and plecos. And he's going to be kind of spilling the dirt Friday on that. And he's also Dan also runs the Aquarium Insider podcast, which kind of tries to shed light on the nefarious or shady side of what's going on in the hobby, and more specifically like retail end of things or like big companies, and what we can do about that, or what you can do to advocate avoiding buying, fish that have been tortured essentially before they get to you and are terrible genetically, full of disease, and or not going to live very long kind of thing. So that should be cool. That's Friday, though. And I know that the live streams have been mixed up this week a little bit, but it's because of availability of everybody and all that. So here we are on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday, which I'm kind of digging. And so Shanna, I have to say, too, I'm going to plug your channel for you because you're kind of modest about this stuff. But essentially, Shanna has a channel, 503 Aquatics, but she works a lot with other creators, and she does kind of like a variety show on Saturdays called Saturday Morning Cartoons. And they do like fish and animal trivia where the audience interacts. They do Name That Tune, which is my favorite, even though not like fish. It's not all
Nothing
music from the
to do
band
with
Fish
fish.
or anything.
It's fish adjacent.
Fish adjacent, right?
Because we all like jokes.
Yeah, and fish like music, I'm pretty sure. So we'll go with that. But it's just always a good fun time. Her and Degenerate Fish Keeper, aka Jason, do a great job, and it's got cute little animations, and it's way more high tech than anything I do here. So it's awesome to see like a newer set of channels as far as like publishing publicly, doing something that's like so creative and interactive, and it's fun. It's at 7 a.m. on the West Coast, which is a bit early, but I get up for it on purpose or stay up for it. And then on the East Coast, that would be 10 a.m. I suppose.
Yes.
And then Ladies' Night is kind of like a nighttime panel show of the influencer ladies of the night. Well, not ladies of the night. ladies of live stream in the hobby. Danikin, I see your super chat, buddy.
Thank
I really appreciate it, brother. Look at this pair. What up? $5 super chat. Appreciate that. All super chats will be going to Axolotl Conservation tonight, aka Shanna and I'll split them, and that'll conserve her. So, in any case, what else would you like to say? Anything else about those shows? What time's Ladies' Night? What day? How many ladies are there? Who started it? Who's the best lady? You know, all that.
Okay, so Ladies' Night is 3 wild and crazy broads, and we get together and talk about everything. And by everything, I mean everything, including fish at times. And we like to have ladies on as guests, and we're starting to have men on. They're going to be in our own special little ladies' night version of a hot seat. We haven't figured out specifically what it's called yet, but watch for that guy.
Just take a stool, flip it upside down, and put them in that.
Yep. We were thinking a cage, something like that. Maybe we'll call it cage match.
Oh yeah. You could put them like in a mud gup or a mud skipper tank. Maybe that would. I feel like that would keep our skin hydrated and our gills. We could, feed if we need to. Yeah. No, it's a really fun show, and I often have pretty dry content. I'm a little sarcastic and all that, but my content obviously is pretty dry or info packed sometimes to the point where it's like, shut up, you're being redundant. But on the other hand, I feel like we also need places to just like let off steam, and you guys do go over info and events and things going on also, but it's nice to have kind of a playful, it's just entertainment to me. You guys could have your own TV show very easily with your personalities. So
it is just entertainment. It is very light on the info, but it's heavy on the fun.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, one more time. You tell us when those shows are, and also what's up with the content on your channel. I see there's camping info. There's you driving trucks in mud or laughing at those who can't do so, and starting fires with sticks between your hands. I don't know. Like,
okay,
it's like a nature channel. It's
first things first. Ladies' Night is Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. or 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It has the fabulous Miss Dee Dee from Dee Dee's Fendon. It has Jess from Maine's Tales, Fur and Fins, and the Aquatic Morning Show. And it has me. And
so we got like a Gen Xer, a baby boomer, and a edge millennial Gen Xer kind of thing. You and I are kind of on the edge.
And we have North and South.
Nice. So yeah, that's
we have like the whole swing of it and all the perspectives.
I like it when you have Jess on and she's just embarrassed because she's like a Southern belle and you guys are like blah 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 blah, and she's like,
we actually have a whole section of the show where we think of things I won't name here to Google that are terrible, and we have Jess Google them, and we make the screen big with her face and just watch her lose her mind.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Well, so what's with the axolotls? What happened to you as a child? What's going on?
So do you mean Ambystoma mexicanum? Or
Yes, I do.
axolotls, as people like to call them? The funny thing about axolotls is nobody knows how to say their name. And that
Yeah.
includes me. Because I've heard Axolotl, Aholot, Achoki, Axolotl, and then a couple other ones that I thought definitely weren't it. And they're all correct. Like I've heard native speakers use them in a bunch of different ways. So I think that like colloquially they're known by a lot of different names, and there's different species. So like a choke is a specific type of axolotl, and yeah, it depends a lot on where it's from. So just to keep it easy, I say axolotl because that's kind of what we all agreed on.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that makes it nice and easy. So as far as that goes, I mean, also the area that area indicates that, you've got Aztec, you've got the Quechua, you've got Mayan before that, and then you've got the Spanish, and then the French and British fighting in between, and the Texas settlers. And so, you've got a lot of different cultures that have come through. The Hopi Indians, and even like some of the, the Southwest Indians, probably, would have been familiar with some of the life down there. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy to try to track down where that is. And when you put the letter X in it, you're like, oh, great. Is it Chaza or K? So
I'm very unclear on it because none of the articles that I look up have like how to say it. And then the videos I watch have like 10 different people saying the same thing 10 different ways. And I'm like, I don't know.
So do you recall what it means, like its Latin name or its even common name? Do you know that off the top of your head? Because I was looking it up and I found a translation that they didn't know for sure, but it said something like deep water lakes or something like that, or flowing lakes. I can't remember what it was, but that's why I was asking you. I couldn't remember, and I didn't know if it was true. It was like some real half-bit article.
Well, as far as I know, axolotl comes from the Aztec god Xolotl, and axolotls are thought to be his incarnation because what happened is he and his twin brother were supposed to be sacrificed to the new element fire, and he was like, forget this noise, I'm out of here, and he dips. And he's like running, his brother and everybody else is chasing him. And he jumps into the water and turns into an axolotl. And his brother didn't kill him, but said that he forever condemned him to be a water monster and to live in the dark. And that's why axolotls don't like light.
Wow, that's really, really interesting how the folklore matches up. Also, I want to really shout out and thank, I just saw it come in, 3G, a $20 super sticker. Aww, so thank you so much. We appreciate that. Definitely. Yeah, big shout out 3G. Thank you. And also I see Rico and Mick and Metalheads Aquatics in here, BJ, Vizine. Interesting. So there's a comment that I want to kind of address really quick here. Vizine was saying that I found a salamander that looked a lot like an axolotl up here in Whatcom County, in a cave. Any idea, fish freaks? Yes. So the really cool thing about axolotls, or axolotls, or however you say it, is that they are actually what we call pedomorphic, which is where they retain their juvenile or even embryonic traits and everything that's ever been related evolutionarily. So if for instance, when you're in the embryonic stage, humans even have these things that look like gills. And I happen to be one of the one in about 50,000 or so people who has a scar from where or a birthmark from where those little lung divots didn't heal. This is the lowest two. They fuse together. And sometimes they're called angel kisses. But I just happen to know that humans have these little false gills in the embryonic stage. But that's from back when we may have had gills when we were a little critter that squirmed around, some distant relative of ours. And oftentimes, fish, and a lot of people don't know that fish actually, most of them, there's 6 groups of freshwater fish mostly, but most of them, if you're not looking at lungfish and bichers and things like that, they actually started in freshwater lakes and things like that. Then they went on land, then they went back into the water, and we're talking 400, 500 million years ago as little teeny salamandery type things, depending on the species. So there's things like residual lungs and gills and all these other features. For instance, chickens still have teeth from when they were lizardy dinosaur things, and we can actually turn on with genetics those teeth, and we can turn on a big, long, ugly T-Rex type tail on chickens embryonically. And so with all that said, axolotls naturally are a creature that has taken some of those old genetic traits that weren't used anymore that still show up in their developmental stages. And so you could have found a salamander of any kind that was stuck in its pedomorphic stage. So it's almost like if a baby was born premature, a human baby, yet it was able to survive, and it just kept chilling. And it, say, for instance, I don't know, this is a really bad example, but the world flooded and it needed gills. So it kept those gills I was talking about in the womb. And it's the only one that made it when the rest of the humans died. Some pregnant mothers had the babies with the gills, and they're all that survived. And then they grew up to full size, but it worked out that those gills kept them alive. Bad example. The only thing I could think of off the top of my head. But Shanna, I'm sure you have something to say about their traits and the pedomorphic thing. So I'll let the expert say more.
Fun little fact. I believe you said pedomorphic. Another term that's used is neoteny, for perpetual youth, or that forever young state that they stay in because they don't metamorphize, alphabet soup. But also they can move onto land when exposed to certain substances or an especially rough environment. They will become land salamanders, and it typically shortens their lifespan, and they lose some of their regenerative abilities. So it's kind of like sad pancakes. You have this cool lizard that's scooting around now, but it's most likely because you didn't take very good care of it.
Right on. Yeah. So that's interesting too, because if you think of like a tadpole, like if you ever have lived near a pond with bullfrogs, you'll notice that some tadpoles never grow into frogs. They end up like having some gills and maybe some leg, or like front legs, or little teeny front and back legs, but they'll keep their big long tail, and they just stay that way. And it's not its own species, but it's just an environmental thing that causes that. And oftentimes when you have caves or a really unique environment, these traits can become more popular, and the evolutionary process selects for this, because if you're in a cave or something and all of a sudden you don't need well-developed eyes, and in your developmental stages you didn't have that, or you didn't need pigment, for instance, then you'll find, for instance, like there's axolotls that are from these caves in Mexico that have no pigment. They have the pink albino looking. They're not technically, those ones I don't think are technically albino. They've just evolved not to make melanin, I believe. But then there are albino, and there are leucistic, and there are like green ones that have been enhanced by laboratories, and I'll let you get into that. But also, thank you so much. Vaizine says, thank you. A $5 tip for the crazy rant I went on. Okay. Well, at least it had a little value to someone. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that,
I
my
love
friend.
the rants. That's my favorite part.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what I mean, what where would you find these things? What do they look like? And are they like, is there an adult version of these in the same environment, or are they all this in their environment? Like, are they all axolotls?
They're all this in their environment.
Okay, okay. So
But
there's no
unfortunately,
adult axolotl anymore.
well, I mean, the ones that finish developing and reach the adult phase because they're exposed to substance or have a poor environment, those are adult axolotls.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because they mutate out of water and onto land.
Oh, okay. So like if their water quality's too bad, would that be like a reason why they would? Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome.
They're pretty remarkable in their ability to survive. Like they'll grow, like if their water gets too bad, they'll go to land. If they lose an arm, they'll grow it back. They can, like in the 50s, somebody did an experiment where they, oh my gosh, sorry. I thought that
it's all
was
good.
Woo.
I didn't know that axolotls knew how to use telephones. That's impressive.
Well, I'm a very impressive axolotl. I'm a whole lottle.
A lottle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in the 50s, somebody did an experiment where they decapitated two of them and switched them, and they both survived. They like connected and grew back together, and they've removed portions of an axolotl's brain, all of their limbs. In 1864, French zoologist Auguste Dumeril tried to force them into mutating into their land form by cutting off their gills, like over and over and over again for months, and they just kept growing them back and staying in water. So they're like,
whoa.
I like to think of them as the real deal phoenix, because like you can have one and they don't rise from the ashes. They just keep growing back. I love it.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me of this old Chinese story during the Song Dynasty. And there was this crazy emperor. You can read about him. I can't remember his name, but he went totally nuts. And probably because he believed that drinking lead and mercury solutions was a good idea. And he would take baths in mercury and stuff.
That seems it's cool. So ill-advised. Like, wouldn't you figure out like shortly into that experience that maybe this isn't good? Like fairly rapidly.
Like when you don't have the ability to have kids and you start like going blind and like, you know, turning blue or yellow or whatever. Yeah, you'd think. But so he went crazy, mad as a hatter, which that term also comes from working with mercury and arsenic and other chemicals, formaldehyde. But in any case, he goes mad as a hatter. One of his decrees is bring me 15,000 virgin male otters. I want you to think about that for a minute.
Good luck with that. Otters are little perverts.
Yeah, well, not to mention, how does one decide that it's a male and a virgin otter? And where do you get 15,000 of those? Unless you're like growing them, but that's not what he meant. He wanted people to go to collect them. It was like a test of loyalty, was his logic. But in any case, that's a sample of like one of the crazy things he did. But another one was he was out fishing and he found that starfish, the sunflower starfish, actually eats some of the sea urchins that they like to eat the roe of, the little eggs of. It's like their caviar. And so when they found that those sea stars were all over the place, they were like, that's it. I'm decreeing all of China. Every fisherman needs to go out there and cut the starfish into 5 pieces and throw it in the water so that we'll never have to deal with these starfish again. Well, they did that. And 2 or 3 years later, there were 5 times the amount of starfish. because each leg just regrew into an entire starfish. So
Yeah.
it just kind of reminds me of the other myths and things. Like I can see why a culture like the Aztecs or or native Mexican cultures would see that, like, wow, you can cut off its tail and it grows back, its legs, its gills. I mean, that's incredible. And do you know if that's because they're young, like, or do they have that ability as a salamander if they're on land? Do you know that at all by chance?
Well, so once they transition to land, they don't lose all of their regenerative capabilities, but they lose a lot of them.
Okay, that makes
but
sense.
It's actually super interesting seeing the regenerative capabilities of axolotls. Aztecs, Mexican cultures all looked at them as like a healing thing. Like,
Sure.
And there's a coven of nuns called the Sisters of Immaculate Health in Pátzcuaro, Mexico.
Nailed it.
They make a syrup, I think from axolotls. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think what they do
from their eggs.
Yeah, they take a secretion from them, I think.
Yeah, something. It's used to treat asthma and bronchitis and any sort of lung phlegm type issues. And they've actually teamed up with, I forget the name of the university, but they're working with scientists and conservationists because they've been collecting and keeping and breeding them for so long. The conservationists are looking at them to teach them how to create a breeding program so that they can hopefully clean up the lakes and return them to the wild.
Right. Yeah. National Geographic has a really good documentary on that. And then it's also got a good article on that that I read. But it was a crazy story. I mean, from what I understood, it's a slightly more endangered version than the one that we have in the hobby as the pet. But it's like a very, very similar salamander or subspecies.
Yeah, it's a choke.
Okay, choke. And so they're, I think they said they were down to like 68 in the wild or something, like really crazy. Might even be gone now.
Well, in like 1998, they did a census and they were showing about 6,000 per square kilometer. At the last census, they were showing like 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So they're facing habitat destruction, pollution, and invasive species eating them.
Yeah.
So it's a rough scenario. But what they've been doing is they're working with local people to reinvigorate chinampas and the ancient ways of farming and that subsistence living. And what they do is they actually create filters in the canals out of rocks and native plants. And those filters go on the ends of each canal in each place. And then it cleans out the water enough that the axolotls would be able to return.
Right on. When I gave my talk in Portland, which is online if people want to watch it, but there's a slide in that talk where it shows how, so this is actually, it sounds interesting that people would live, I guess let's give a little background on the lake too and the people, because Mexico City is essentially built on a lake. And originally the Aztecs, as Shanna was telling me before, they had like a big fortress and temple in the center, or on an island anyways. And then they had some kind of a few farmers and villages of important people around that. Well, over time, it got bigger and bigger, and they would build more farming area, and they would grow almost hydroponically by using like reeds and straw and then grass and then mud. And like they had a system where they built floating islands, and they actually started building houses out there, because after hundreds of years of doing this, you start actually building a whole layer above the lake. But
it's a giant planted aquarium. That's what
Yeah,
they did.
and
They made the biggest aquarium ever, and it's sick, or it was.
yeah, and so they used to have the system where they left canals for both transportation and for water, and so that they could bathe. And then even like, I mean, if you look at the slide I had, I wish I had it handy, but it was almost like rows. It looks like a maze from above, but you could then they would use like one every third or fourth to go to the bathroom and put their wastewater. And then there'd be like 5 rows with roots going down from these plants that would eat all the nitrates and bacteria, and they'd have snails and stuff. Like everything that was naturally there to filter feed freshwater clams, axolotls somewhere in the mix, I'm sure. And then the next chamber over would have maybe like some small fish, and then the next chamber over would actually have big fish. And they would do everything from cutting old plants and compost and cutting up fish organs, meat and stuff, or whatever they didn't want, bones and things, and throwing that over in the waste one. And then they could even have a clean enough one within walking distance on the other end of each row of houses, where it was clean drinking water. And it was an ancient system that they'd had for a long time. But it's not only found in Mexico. Myanmar, Lake Inle, where the CPDs are from, Celestial Pearl Danios, and the rummy nose rasboras, and a lot of bettas and gouramis. That Lake Inle, is also full of reed farming like that, and boats that go around. Lake Titicaca in the Andes is a ginormous lake, but it has a whole ethnic group that like never wanted to incorporate with the Incas, that held their own, and they escaped the Incas by living in the middle of the lake, and basically said, the Incas said, you can go into the lake, and there was this teeny island, and they were like, you'll be safe there, but that's it. And so they built around this island, and they have lived there for 600 years, and there's a few thousand of them living on these reed mat farms. They build boats out of the reeds. They build houses out of the reeds. I mean, anything you could think of, they utilize it somehow and make something with it. And so it's kind of cool that we are going back, and we're working with the colonial invading force of the nuns and the Catholic Church and the Spaniards, their history and legacy, which had been really destructive, honestly. And then yet we're still working with the people who are alive today, who are the indigenous people.
A little bit of amends.
Yeah. And they're working together along with, the global community of scientists to both learn from the past and to implement things they learn. And yeah, so it's very cool how that is all part of it. And I mean, like Goodyead are being also, pushed right to the edge of extinction. And the same area has a lot of Goodyeads and even some cichlids. And like the fish hobby is kind of the last bastion of safety for some of those species. So if you're not interested in axolotls, there's a good chance that these lakes will come up in your research, or this lake rather, and its canals will come up in your research of a lot of very, very near extinct or endangered live bears and things like that too. So it's kind of cool. There's some really pretty ones that are out there that are just not common. And for a while they were really common in the hobby because they're super sturdy. They're tropical to subtropical, depending on which ones they are, but pretty cool. So, all right, let's hear about your experience with axolotl, though. Like, where, why, what happened to you? So, hold on one sec, too. I have to. You keep talking. I have to get the door because I have a pizza coming that is 2 hours late.
Oh, shoot. So my love for axolotls starts with their like survivability, their like instinct to survive and ability to like regrow. Like you can call me a comeback kid. And
comeback kid.
I've really just appreciated that their similarity to the phoenix, and as far as like mythology goes, and they're so flippin' cute. Like they're just ridiculously cute and personable. They're like the definition of derpy.
They are.
Like doop doop boop boop boop, just boop right into the side of their aquarium. Like Frankie would always float up at the top and then go to come down and then be like wham. Just like it's like, dude, you were doing so well. If you had hung in there for like another inch and a quarter, you would have been fine. But instead, you're like, nope, and we're done. Bam. And then Frankie, my axolotl, actually passed.
Oh,
I think it was from an internal parasite, but I don't know
rough.
for sure.
They're probably sensitive to the medications that you can use. Right? You're kind of limited with that.
Yeah, I haven't found a whole lot on medicating axolotls. The treatments I know of are salt and cold water, and then you can also put them in the refrigerator.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
So this weird little gilled lizard, amphibian, you can, it's like a heat pack, like you can reset it by putting it in the refrigerator. What's going on here? Like, you got to tell me more about this.
Yeah. You put them in the fridge, like if they're not doing good, like if they lose a limb and they have tank mates or whatever, if they're sick, that's one of the things that you can do if they get an ammonia burn, something like that. And it just like kind of puts them into hibernation.
Okay.
So like when treating axolotls, where with fish you would turn up the heat, with axolotls you're going to turn it down.
And so does that slow their metabolism too? Like, so that then like it can kind of focus on
all of the energies going towards healing or regenerating, or
I don't know what's going on with my hair. I'm sorry. It's just
it's doing its own thing. It's
trying to escape. Yeah. Well, okay, so that's kind of cool. I mean, that's very different. I mean, it shows it's a very different creature than fish and other amphibians or reptiles I've kept. I don't particularly recall that. I mean, maybe that's a new method that's used, but in other species. But that's pretty interesting. Thanks, Cass. I appreciate that you like my hair tonight. Maybe I'll just do this. We'll just let it all hang out.
Yeah, there we go.
Now I'm an axolotl.
Don't care. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So beyond this, I mean, how long do they live in theory? Like, how big do they get? Like, should I get 10? Should I get 1? Like, tell me about keeping these things.
So they can live like a decade. They can live a really long time. Yeah. They're fairly unique because they have the regenerative properties, and they're like especially resistant to things like cancer. So, you know, if kept properly and like bred well, there's no reason why you wouldn't have a pet stay with you for a very long time. They do need colder water. So like you can keep them, some people say up to like 74. I wouldn't do that. I like 70 and below, down to like 59, 58. Okay. And so that can present some challenges. You need to have them, like, if you have them in your fish room, you need to have it down low. You need to have a fan on the tank, and you need to be checking in on it. I'm sure that some will tolerate higher temperatures as opposed to others who just won't go for it. You can tell that they're not doing well because they get like fluff. Oh. And what that is it's their skin dying and peeling off. So it looks like cottony fuzz all around their gill stalks, and they can get it like on their armpit or their elbow pits, you know, anywhere where their skin kind of meets. Typically, I recommend keeping them in a bare bottom tank. You can have them in a plant aquarium, but you really have to know what you're doing with your plants. And I would suggest a really heavy plant load and understand that they're going to dig everything up.
Okay, so
they're going to float and try and sit on everything. So like floating plants are really great because they don't like the light. So if you cover the top in like duckweed or red root floaters or anything along those lines, pothos does really well with them.
Cool. So is there anything you can put in a tank with them? Or I mean, are they like a frog where they eat anything that fits in their mouth? Or
yeah, they'll eat anything that fits in their mouth.
Are they peaceful? Like, do they fight? Do they like spar over territory? Or I mean, anything like that? Or
I mean, they're pretty chill. They're you can keep them together like as long as they have enough tank space, like 20 gallons for one, 30 for two, 40 for three. Like if you keep them same gender, then they'll be fine in a tank together. Most of the time, some of them won't. Some of them will be grumps, like any other, fish or whatever. Like there's no hard and fast rule. They all have their own personalities. But typically with axolotls, their personality is like adorable and derpy. Like they just love you when you feed them. They like to come over and say hi to you.
So they have personalities?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They'll chill at the front of the tank when the TV's on. And it's like, I don't know what exactly they're doing, but it sure seems like they're watching TV. They watch you as you go around your room. Pretty cool.
That is cool. I mean, I've always liked fish that do that. I mean, I've noticed that puffers really do that, and a lot of cichlids and angelfish are cichlids. But I mean, I've noticed that with a lot of my angelfish, where they kind of like watch you as you move around the room, and they're like floating, and they just kind of lock onto you, like feed me, or like they're planning something. I don't know.
I wonder if like fish watch us and think, what are the humans doing today? Oh, they're so peaceful, or oh, they're so aggressive.
It's sad that they're trapped in that room of theirs.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They don't even have plants.
Yeah, they don't even have plants and bugs and things. So, I just saw Mary post in the chat. Appreciate it, Mary. Thank you. Mods, admins, thank you so much. But she posted a link to my Teespring store, which has absolutely nothing to do with anything we just talked about. But for Cyber Monday, I added like pint glasses and tumblers and water bottles and actual towels for like the fish room. They're not little towels, they're actual full-size towels, which use it in the shower or the beach or the fish room, I guess. I do use towels that big in the fish room, but it's usually when I've screwed something up pretty royal. But I keep one in there.
You have a giant towel for people to use after the shower. Does it have your face on it?
It does not. It just so up until recently, my thought was I am not going to put Secret History Living in Your Aquarium on anything. Like I'm not going to advertise because they already know where they got it. And if anybody asks, then it's a great interpersonal relationship. And that's how I like the channel, is like this casual, like interpersonal, like let's teach each other, let's learn from each other, let's tell a story and joke around a little bit. And then I had a lot of people say, no, you're an idiot. Like, put your name on the thing. I want to rock the thing that says
cute,
it. But I did, so I caved and I came out with like a coffee mug, and I don't think there's any shirts or anything up yet. But the thing is, YouTube, once you're like linked in with affiliating Teespring and YouTube, they have to like approve what you post and make sure it's not like someone else's like copyrighted imagery or something, I guess. Oh. And so I don't even know if it's fixed yet. You guys might be able to tell by checking below the window right now and while watching, or in my other videos, or on my homepage on YouTube. Otherwise, you can go to the link in the chat, and it should all be up on there. But for those of you looking for gifts, or if you have someone who is looking for something and like the channel or whatnot, it's a great way to support the channel. And generally, I try to give all the money from this, like, you know, obviously there's taxes, and then there's like handling fees and stuff, but all the profit I give to a charity each month, usually, like from the last month or two, or sometimes I wait 2 months, because some months I only make like $5 or $20 you know, like total is like what ends up in your account. But whatever it ends up being, I usually do donate that to charity from all the merch stuff, at least at this point in time. And the other thing is, like, I'm always open if someone is interested to a charity or they're working with the charity. I love to hear what's new and what's out there, and, you know, what conservation things that are fish and freshwater ecosystem adjacent are out there. Because until it starts making like money where I'm like, ooh, I can depend on that for a thing, if it ever does, you know, for like income, it's enough money that I don't count on it. Or I mean, it's enough amount of money that I don't like count on it. So it feels like a good way to give back, like that specific thing. So I try to. But yeah, okay. So sorry about that terrible plug of my own crap.
We shall accept no apologies. Moving right along.
Yeah, moving right along. You know, I wish I had a picture handy of an axolotl, and I don't on StreamYard, like right now. I don't have it set up with the computer laptop. You don't have one handy, do you?
Yeah, let me see what I can do.
Okay. And I'm sorry, guys. I didn't eat all day, and then I ordered this pizza, and then it like never came before the show, and then it just showed up, and so I'm sorry. I'm sneaking bites of it. I apologize. I'm rude. Shanna, you'll forgive me, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm so about it.
Axolotls are one of the most forgiving creatures in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little known fact. It's because they can regenerate. I mean, they're just chill. You know, I caught you the other night on a show that I was trying to see who's this Shanna chick and what's she about. And like, I didn't learn anything. So
yeah.
I wanted to make sure that you came here as a imaginary mythical animal, and oh wait, no, they're real. As a weird animal, and we continue to not know anything about the real Shanna. So
well, what would you like to know other than I can't figure out how to share a picture on StreamYard?
I couldn't figure it out either. I don't like. Usually
it's
I can.
Like saying I need a slide to put up, and then I open up where my pictures are, and it says there's no files, and I'm like, okay, I guess my files aren't slides.
Okay, so like, where are you located? How about that?
I live in
address
Portland, Oregon. I'm not giving you my address. I actually live in Aloha, which most people would think is pronounced Aloha, but it's not. It's Aloha. I don't know why. But if I said Aloha, everybody would look at me like I was weird. So I succumbed to peer pressure and say Aloha.
Nice. Okay, so you're in the Portland area. So you've got like the wet spot, like fish store. They carry some weird fish sometimes. I wish they'd carry reptiles. That'd be kind of cool. Or amphibians more, like poison dart frogs and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Do you guys have any stores that carry like reptiles down there?
I'm sure we do. I mean, like, I have $15 freshwater fish stores within an hour of me, and probably just as many saltwater. So there's like everything. I mean, we're stuck inside 9 months out of the year. We really need to like make sure that we have something to do with our time. And we like being wet. Like, it's always rainy. So, you know, it just kind of works well together.
Yeah, Seattle's much the same, and it was a pleasure to finally actually get to meet you in person at Fishtoberfest. So
Yeah,
that was fun.
super
And
fun.
I was gonna say, we should road trip to the Triple Crown together.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Do
I
you
was kind of
know
thinking about it. Like, I mean,
the content
one,
creation alone, like just the streams,
yeah,
road
I
trip
don't know. I
stream.
was just kind of thinking like, there's a lot of cool things on the way, and like, not that you'd want to spend much time, but like, if you made it last like 4 or 5 day, like 4 days each way, and then like, 4 days there or something. It's a lot of days, I know, but I'm kind of kicking it around in my head. So,
I mean, I feel like I could swing it. So I started a new job.
right, you
I
are the
drive a forklift.
forklifter.
Yes, I drive a forklift. I am a package puller at a lubricant plant and
Wait,
a
wait, one more time.
package puller at a lubricant plant. Mm-hmm. And I drive forklift. So I lift a bunch of heavy boxes and drive forklift. And everybody knows that I have fish tube, YouTube. When I started there, I had to push my start date like by 4 days so that I could go to Aquashella in Dallas. And I told them about it. And the joke was that they were going to get my uniforms with the name tag saying fish sticks.
Well,
and I have like stickers all over. Like all of my Fish Fam stickers are on my forklift now.
I like that. I don't know. Like I wasn't the best behaved kid. I'll just put it that way. And when I hit a certain age, I still love fish. Like I kept them as like a preteen, like age 9, 10, whatever. And I started getting into breeding guppies around like 12 or 13, and then also started getting into like, oh, I don't know, like throwing rocks at cars and just doing dumb things that 13-year-old boys do.
13-year-old girls do the same sort of
stuff. Finding like old bando houses and like spray painting them with like anarchy symbols and like, Limp Biscuit. No, not really, but
right.
I think
like, I'm not cool enough to spray paint anything like original or actually artistic, but I wanted to file some property.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So around that age, I kind of got embarrassed that I was breeding guppies. So I moved the tanks into my closet. I was a closeted aquarium keeper, like literally. But I had 2 guppy tanks going through high school that only like my like the the sensitive side of me, like I'd pop in like the new movie at the time was like Almost Famous, so I'd like put that movie on, have like the girl over and be like, hey, yeah, I did have long hair in high school, and I was like, so I
if I show you something, do you promise you won't tell anybody?
Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Like,
look at my
I
fish
care
tanks.
for life. I have 190. Hold on, 193, 94 children that I care for. I had 96.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how guppies
I
are.
would call that a red flag.
Right. Yeah. Child support gets steep for 196 children. Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah. That's when you just feed them to your other children.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, you're a parent, and so maybe that's not how real children work. But that was what I was thinking in my head in case I have kids. That if I have too many, you just feed the extra ones to the bigger ones, right? That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Clearly. Cool. So, and I like to hear about it because you're definitely a family person, a loyal. What is going on with my how did that happen? I didn't touch it, I don't think. In any case, a loyal family person, a great mother, and you say you have a child that's very awesome as well. So I don't know. I just wanted to paint the picture of Shanna from your streaming life. I mean, for all I know, you're
brag on Ben a little bit. So
what's that?
You have to let me brag on Ben a little bit.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah.
So my son is 15. He is an angel. And I know that every mom says that, but mine for real is. I've never had to ground him. Like when I ask him to do something, he does it. The only thing I really have to ask him more than once to do is shower, but I understand that that's normal for 15-year-old boys. He's been playing D&D with the same group of friends for like 4 years now. So he's pretty tight with his clique. And for his elective this semester or this term, he picked AP history. So like, I got a nerd.
That's pretty lucky.
Instead of a hooligan like me. I had already stolen my parents' car at his age. Like I was bad.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I quit drinking before my 21st birthday. That's how much I was like, I've already got a decade of this. I'm done.
Yeah, I should have done that.
Yeah. So for my 21st birthday, we didn't go out. Like everyone was like, let's go somewhere. And I'm like, Netflix and chill. Back when Netflix was like getting mailed to your house still.
Oh, yeah.
When it was new.
When it was competing with Blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we still did have a Blockbuster at that point in time. You know, so let's see here. What would you like out of your YouTube life and existence? I mean, are you doing this for fun? Would you like a channel that covers something in particular? Do you like the kind of open format you have now? Like, what would you like to do ideally with the community here?
I want to make people laugh.
Well, you do a good job of that.
I like to laugh. I'm like most people. I think I have my own issues with depression and anxiety, and after lockdown and all of that, my circle had gotten real small. I was full-blown introvert, creeping into hibernation mode, and the friends that I've made here, like for real, like before I was working again, that was why I got out of bed. Like I was just not doing super great, but
yeah,
everybody being around and caring. And I think the real big thing for me was like stuff had gotten a little bit dark and I just kind of dropped out for a couple weeks. And all of a sudden I just started getting a bunch of messages and everything. And it was just like, I couldn't believe people were like missing me. It didn't even occur to me as an option, right? Hearts. And so like I've never found such a loving group of people so quickly, and having in my corner and as my support system. Like, dude, I don't know what my channel is gonna do, but I do know that with the friends and the support that I have here, it'll do whatever I want.
Well, right on. I mean, I encourage people to check it out and to not just like, I mean, it really is an interactive channel. Like it says a lot that like you have as many people in your live stream. Like, I mean, I don't want to like shout you out and make it sound, I'm not bragging or dissing on you. I'm not trying to make anything of it other than just saying that you've got less than 500 subscribers, yet you have like 50 to 100 people basically every Saturday morning or at ladies' night actively, it's the same amount that we have right now. Like we have 60 people watching right now or whatever. And, I'm going to be at 25,000. So I'm doing something much more wrong than you are clearly for engagement. Mm-hmm. But it's a testament to your personality and to you make everybody feel very at home and very I think comfortable in their own skin, which is a very unique and powerful trait or attribute to have to be able to do that. So I just appreciate it, and I definitely wanted to like introduce you to folks who hadn't seen you yet. And whether you're doing an informational video or you were just kicking around and having fun and you happen to be a very intelligent woman and funny woman, who we can talk serious about fish if we want to, but also we can joke about 1990s retro crap or whatever. So
we can joke about 1980s crap.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Like, remember when Oh man, Tiananmen Square.
Yeah.
Just this won't be seen in China. So, yeah. Well, okay. So, do you keep other fish too, right?
Yeah. I have guppies and platies and plecos and mystery snails and a betta, and I
I
also have
still
a
do
couple of
that. Yeah.
saltwater tanks. So
Okay, so that's what I thought. I thought I'd seen some of your saltwater, and it looked pretty impressive. Um, I know it's not huge, but so how long have you been into saltwater? Like most of us don't cross over. It's like
I actually started with saltwater.
okay, so you crossed over to freshwater, huh?
So I started out, I'm such a brat. So I started out doing saltwater aquariums because the guy I was dating had a 13-gallon saltwater aquarium and I felt like it looked like crap. And that meant he was doing it wrong. And he was like,
Probably was.
I'm not doing it wrong. I watched 52 Weeks of Reefing by BRS and you have to watch it. So I'm like, okay, just to prove you wrong, I'm going to watch 52 plus hours of nerd reef stuff that turns out, doesn't really work that well at the end. That's the conclusion. Spoiler alert. So basically my experience with saltwater started with a lot of death. I was a serial fish killer. So we all know that smaller aquariums are harder to keep balanced, but with saltwater, even more so.
Yeah.
And
did you have coral and everything in that?
What?
Did you have like live rock or coral in that too?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's really intense.
So I nuked that tank right away by scraping off all of the algae in one day and doing like a 50% water change. And that was enough to kill everything in it and turn it into a big foamy mess.
The foam.
Then, yeah, the foam of death, which like also smells terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you keep salt water at some point, you will. And I don't know if it happens as badly in freshwater. I'm not sure.
There's a smell, but it's not the same. There's like a dead, muddy porta potty kind of smell that comes from freshwater, but saltwater is like
it's very
rotten
dramatic
seafood or something, like rotten tuna or something.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. You immediately know that it's just over. And then I went on to get a 5-gallon saltwater tank, which I never nuked the 13-gallon again. I learned my lesson on that one and got it looking better and doing better. But the 5-gallon tank, like I never successfully kept salt water in it. The longest stretch I had was 3 months, and I don't think that counts as successful.
I don't know.
But I had clownfish and coral in that one.
Oh, cool.
At the end of it, it like nuked, and I was able to save the clownfish. I just swooped them out and plopped them in another tank, and they survived. So that was cool.
Was this around Finding Nemo time by any chance?
No. And mine are actually like fancy clownfish.
You got like the Wyomings or something that are like black and white or whatever.
It's a stormtrooper and I forget what the other one is, but they're all white with just a little bit of black and a teeny bit of orange. And then in the blue light, they glow blue.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Somehow you managed to incorporate Star Wars and fish keeping.
It's because nerd life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. You are probably going to get a lot of stalkers from this.
Well, subscribe, like, and hit the alerts bell notifications thing. You know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, do you have an OnlyFans?
I need an OnlyFans. Oh my gosh.
I think we should start that site, but just for you.
So I'm moving at the end of the month, but my roommate likes to joke that he has an OnlyFans cam. He's like, yep, I had it set up in your room while you slept last night. I'm like, that's weird. Nobody wants to watch that. And he's like, you'd be surprised. I'm like, you aren't really doing that, right?
Yeah, the internet's a weird place. Somebody mentioned somebody's birthday and I missed it. I was gonna do a shout out. Where did it go? I think it was. Where did it go? Hold on, I'll find it. Everyday Fish Keeping. It's Everyday Fish Keeping's birthday.
Happy birthday!
So happy birthday, dude! And here's an axolotl I got you up OnlyFans for your birthday. Boy, those eyes, I mean, they're just cute. And you got a tail. I mean, do you have anything else? Do they have pouches or any other odd
It has
features?
pockets.
Oh, okay.
The onesie has pockets.
Do real axolotls have pockets, though?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess like fish have pockets if you count gills. All right, we should do a quick poll, you know, like throw up a poll. Are gills fish pockets?
I mean, do they keep stuff in them?
Like lungy tissue?
I don't think that counts as pockets.
No,
but
I don't
we'll
think so.
let chat decide.
Yeah, I can't actually put up that. I guess I don't have anything set up right tonight where, like, you know, usually I can post pictures and we could have been showing all the beautiful axolotl morphs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, sorry, I am technologically inept, and also is that the oven going crazy? And our oven's going crazy. By the way, Gannon Garner official, thank you for the super chat. Alex, how much for you to start an OnlyFans? Well, I mean, if you pay me anything, I'll pretty much do it. I mean, if you really want to see, like, you know, see some skin, like, I don't know, $4 or $5 probably. Does that seem fair? I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a guy, so I don't think I think the rates don't transfer quite the same. But no. But to see my fish, now that might be some high money for some of my special fish. So in any case, I wanted to feed you pizza through the monitor really badly. I wish I could. Oh. Yeah, let's see. How's this gonna wait. This way? There we go.
I give up.
And everybody was like, "What kind of pizza is it?" I found a code for $6.99 delivered. Cheese pizza, stuffed crust from Pizza Hut.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It's good when you haven't eaten all day, but I have a feeling I'm going to be like, oh, why did I do that? Oh,
last night I was laying in bed and I ate a whole pint of Talenti gelato. It didn't make my stomach feel great.
That stuff
but
is
it
so
made
good.
my mouth so happy.
That stuff is so good. I've done the same thing. I used to do I'd eat like half of a thing of Tillamook chocolate ice cream or French vanilla or coffee or anything. Yeah. But that Talenti stuff or whatever is really good. So
and you can order it on Amazon.
Wait, what did you do on Amazon?
You can order ice cream on Amazon.
Say
you can order groceries on Amazon.
Does it come as a puddle? Like, what's up?
Nope. You have a 2-hour delivery window, typically like a day out, sometimes the next day, but typically like a day out. And they bring it to your house and leave it. And it's sweet. And it's free delivery with Prime.
Oh, right on. I'm gonna have to order ice cream via Amazon. We have an Amazon store like right down the street, like one of the ones where you just go in and steal whatever you want, but it knows.
I can't imagine we don't have those down here. I would feel guilty. I'd be like, I'm stealing stuff.
Well, the funny part
I didn't
is like
talk to anybody. I didn't give them my money, and I'm just stealing everything apparently.
yeah, the funny part is that like in my neighborhood, that's a way better business model. I talked to the Safeway in my neighborhood. They're dealing with $200,000 a month of theft that they can track.
Does anybody pay for their groceries there?
No, pretty much not. I mean, they're not going to sell cigarettes. They're going to stop selling booze and alcohol. Like,
oh, that's right. I forget. You guys have hard liquor up there. You could like that. I'm like, how many steaks can a person steal at a time? But I guess
it's mostly they're stealing mostly like high-end meat.
Yeah,
and then like razors and like feminine like care like shampoo and like maxi pad. I mean, whatever's
they're like $25 a pop.
Yeah, whatever's expensive, then they resell it to like little bodegas that are in the area. Usually, they're like selling
Is that how they get that stuff?
Yeah, and that's why it's so cheap. That's why you're like, oh, why is there a Rolex here for whatever? No, like not a Rolex, but whatever. Why is there like, Kraft macaroni and cheese and not like some off-brand? And why is it still the same price as the off-brand? Yeah, it's because some like tweaker came and brought them like a shopping cart full of mac and cheese and was like, give me $3. And they're like, sure.
What?
Yeah. It's pretty rough right now in our area.
Hi, my name's Shanna. I steal steak and macaroni and cheese to support my habit. Like, I mean, I feel like there's some things with a bad reputation that still have like more respect than stealing steak and mac and cheese.
Right? I know.
Go find a truck stop. Do something with your life.
Yeah, sell water bottles or something. Anything.
Yeah. Bag.
Yeah, bag. At that point, bag. What was I going to... there was some comment. Oh, Animal Lover number 1 wants to know, if you're getting into axolotls, what's the best way to do them? Like freebase or... No, she said, what are some good tips for beginners?
Start with a 20-gallon long. You can put a little itty bitty axolotl in a little itty bitty tank, but you're going to have to keep upsizing the tank. So it's easier just to start with the 20. Within 6 months, that's what they'll need anyway. Go bare bottom. I recommend 2 sponge filters. Just get the air pump that's rated for a 20-gallon tank and get a splitter and then run 2 sponge filters off of it. Don't do a hang on the back. It creates too much flow and they don't like that.
Oh, okay.
And then floating plants. And if you have an axolotl, you're going to need to do a bunch of water changes. Like, unless you really know what you're doing with plants and how to manage all of that, you're probably looking at once a week. And you want to like turkey baster out because they poop little turds. It's a little turd. And then they step on it and it turns into poofetti and it just goes everywhere and touches everything. So you want to get...
You're really selling me on these creatures.
That is dedicated specifically to axolotl poo. Don't put it back in the kitchen when you're done because that's gross. And you use that to like... It's kind of like scooping dog poop, but it's axolotl poop. And you use a turkey baster.
Yeah.
And I recommend having a plant by your tank so that you can just suck the poop out and squirt it in the plant.
Right on. That's a good idea. I have a turkey baster for everything. Like, I have like 4 of them in my fish room. They're
and you
great.
would never use it in the kitchen, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They do need a cycled tank. Absolutely.
Okay. And the other thing, somebody was asking more questions, and I was going to say, Shanna has a video that I've seen that was like things I wish I knew before I bought. an axolotl, so you could go watch that. Like, you've got some really short to the point videos with like good like bullet point info on them. So if anybody's got more questions, go to her channel, because that and like camping are the things that are kind of like the recent posts, you know.
I love going out in nature. So every Saturday, I'm getting ready to move right now, so I'm grounded. I got to stay home and take care of my stuff. But otherwise, every Saturday I do Saturday morning cartoons, and then I go out to the woods. And, you know, I feel like nature was my first love. And when I couldn't get out into nature, I could have my hands in an aquarium and, you know, enjoy that way and decompress. And yeah,
it's good for the old heart and soul. So what's your favorite type of axolotl, like color morph wise, and like what are some of the color morphs that are out there?
Well, there's albino, and that's the white and pink with pink eyes. There's cystic, which is what Frankie was. It's almost the same as an albino, but with black eyes. And then there's the melanin types, which is the dark type. But there's like 40,000 billion other types. If you put hashtag axolotl on Instagram, you'll see white ones with copper spots and shiny copper gills and filaments.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's just all sorts of different kinds that you'll see. And I don't have any idea what all those are called. Those are like named whatever by whoever.
Are there like calico ones and, you know, stuff like that?
I've seen ones that are white on one side and black on the other side, split down the middle.
Oh,
So there's all sorts of patterns. They don't necessarily breed consistently, but
yeah,
all sorts.
I bet that's a chimera.
That'd be cool.
Were you in one of my things when one of my chats when we were talking about chimeras? There was a while there where we were talking a lot about chimeras and how like they have the DNA of two individuals. Yeah. You know, they're like twins stuck in one body. It's crazy. Yeah. But there's some really cool. I think who was it? George from Aquaball's channel. He has a bunch of pythons, and the stuff they do from python genetics lately is insane. They've got like purple ones and yellow ones and orange ones, and like none of the colors that I recall 20 years ago when I was into snakes as a teenager.
Oh yeah.
Like, don't remember any of those things. Fish Tropic, shut your mouth.
Oh, there it is.
They're still not paying me. Well, they probably shouldn't. I'm not doing a very good job. But I'd like it if they were. I still have pitched my idea where I want them to buy me a CO2 tank, and I'll put a big, so it looks like a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper, and then they'll carbonate my fish tank, and I'll have an actual soda gun, like fountain.
Yes.
With just Dr. Pepper coming off the same CO2 tank. I don't know like who to get this to. I've tried, and I ended up like at their world charity and like promotional site thing, and I've written like 3 or 4 emails, and I'm just kind of over it at this point, but I still want it to happen. So if anybody's smarter than me and knows like what I should be doing, because when I contact them, they're like, oh, is it going to be $100,000 project or more? And I'm like, no, like maybe $400, maybe. Like, you guys sell carbonated crap. Like,
they're
maybe
like,
you can do it
have
cheaper.
A race car.
Yeah.
How about a blimp?
Well, honestly, that's what it was for. Was like for race car, like endorsements, or like if your bar or like strip club or something, whatever. I don't know. Like if you need giant posters and signage and stuff, or like billboards. But yeah, so I want you to say, let's all say hello to Cinderella.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you again. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just scrubbing our kitchen sink.
She
Oh,
slaves away while I just play with
I
my
know.
friends on the internet. Yeah, she's dressed up like an axolotl.
I was wondering. Oh my god, that's adorable. Did you make that?
nope. I bought it on Amazon.
No.
That should
You
always
can find
be
everything on
You
Yeah.
can get anything on there.
anything.
Amazon.
Anything.
Darn near.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, Shanna, I feel like I've been a pig eating and just rambling on. And you've been so graceful and kind to come on the show and chat with me, do this kind of informal hangout. I really, really appreciate it. Do you have any other stuff that you'd like to promote or say, or do you have a stupid human trick? Like, can you drink milk through your eyeballs or anything interesting? Oh, wow.
I can wiggle my ears.
Oh, that is impressive. And
Mhm.
now you're kind of look like a chicken when you shake it and its head stays in the same spot. Have you ever done that?
No, I've
If
never
you-
shook the chicken.
Yeah. Shanna.
What? I haven't.
I'm sure.
I've never shaken one. I've never choked one. Nothing.
What about a rooster?
Nope.
Nope. All right.
Not a thing. Pure as
Well-
the driven snow over here.
You can hypnotize them too by you put them in the dirt. You just push it. It's kind of mean. It feels mean. I used to do it when I lived in a hippie commune, and I'd take the chickens we had because they annoyed me all the time, and they'd fly around and startle me when I was reading or something, and they'd get in the house and they pooped and they're annoying. But in any case, so you just take them and you just forcefully, not mean or suddenly, but just sturdy, push them down into the dirt or ground and push their feathers against their side. And then you take your finger and you start at their beak and you go out a foot or two and draw a line in the sand or the dirt. And then you just follow that line or sand all the way back to their nose. And then you go up and over so that they can't see it going to the right or to the left. And their eyes cross, or they try to, they're kind of on either side of their head, but they kind of try to, sometimes they'll look one way than the other and do this, or other times they'll just kind of slightly vibrate, and then they just stay there for 30 to 50 minutes. And it's called hypnotizing chickens. And it used to be an old, I don't know, Carney trick or whatever, but Iggy Pop sings about it too. In Lust for Life. He says that's not hypnotizing chickens.
Train spotting.
Which sounds like a really weird line. But in any case, so the ear wiggle, that was a cool trick. Do you know any last other weird trivia or tricks that we can do with animals?
I don't, but I do want to invite everybody to check out my channel. It isn't for everybody, but it sure is a lot of fun, and I'd love to have you there, and you are always welcome.
It isn't for everybody, but it's for some of y'all. It is. It's like the late night show, or the Daily Show of the Fish Fam, kind of. Is it news? Sure. Are there moments of very insightful stuff? Sure. Does it have heart? Hell yeah. Is it funny? Hell yeah. So, and the people involved are all serious fish keepers, so it's pretty cool.
And make sure you check out Jason, the degenerate fish keeper.
Yes, Jason, quality tech man. I need to hire him to not work for you and work for me.
No, that's what's holding me up. That's the whole thing propping me up in all of this is Jason.
He needs some new cartoons. That's my only gripe.
I know we do need some more cartoons, but I do nothing to help with that. So I'm not saying nothing to him. I'm just great work, buddy.
I'll send him some cartoons or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out, for joining me and my pet Axolotl. Choya wood. My pet cholla wood, with gills outside its log. So thanks guys for tuning in. I hope y'all check out her and her channel. And I hope also that you check out, I'm doing a thing on the Aquatic Morning Show also. And I know Jess makes appearances on your show.
On Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays at 7 Pacific and 10 Eastern. Maybe y'all should check it out.
Yeah. And I'm doing like about a minute to 4 minute or 5 minute at max trivia, or this day in fishery, or this new study came out, or whatever. I'm trying to do like a little daily drop in, a daily dose, a micro dose of the secret history living in your channel, in your tank, in your canal, in your chanel. I'm just, I'm a little discombobulated tonight, and I have to apologize because we went to the doctor like right before I came on. So I'm having spine surgery, and I have to figure out finishing up my lower denture implant thing. And they're like, you have to do that first before you can get the other thing, but don't start the top ones, or we can't do the back surge. So there's just a bunch of stuff. Gosh. And so insurance, money, teeth, blah, 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 blah. So I must admit, I was a little frazzled, and I know it was a little rude of me to eat pizza in front of you and in front of everyone, but thanks for just chilling with us tonight and being a little laid back. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody watching. You guys are our friends and family. And like Shanna said, it really did help through the dark times, and will continue to help. People have to go through dark times at different times, and between all of us, there's a few of us that are always going to be cheery or able to lean on. And so make sure you do so if you need it. That's why we're here, and we're all people that I think care about other critters and other people. Man, you're so good at that heart hands thing. I do it, and it's like all off perspectively. It looks like people are like, what are you trying to say? And I'm like, I love you. I can't do it. All right, fine. Yeah, that. Thanks. It's like perfect. So, all right, guys. Well, I know what I should have done is had like a deal with Pizza Hut where I had codes. Somebody was like, the pizza made me hungry.
Right.
Yeah. Secret pizza living in your mouth. All right, guys. Well, I'll be back on Friday. When are you going to be available next, Shanna?
For you, Alex, I'm available anytime you want. Everybody else, y'all can see me Saturday morning at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern.
Right on. And to Azuravian also just said, hey, let's put towels in your merch. I'll buy a bunch. They are in, if you go to the actual Teespring, not just the link on YouTube in the little carousel below, there are towels, but they're like full-size bathroom towels because they got rid of their dumb hand towels, which weren't that great anyways. But I'm trying to find a good source for a small towel, but I am going to order some big ones because I make big messes with water anyways. A big towel, let's be real, only cleans up a gallon or two at very most. And it's pretty easy to carry a bucket and whoop. And
you need a secret history lives in your aquarium shop vac.
A dust buster, and an industrial sawdust, yes, I agree.
A wet dry vac.
The secret history living in your wet dry vac. Yes.
Yeah.
With sump. It'll have a sump. You could actually have fish in it living.
It could be a sump.
I like what you're doing. So wait, what? Tell Shanna to show us that thing with her tongue, says Patty.
The only thing I know how to do is this. Yeah. I think they just want us to stick out our tongues. I'm not sure.
So Patty, stop inciting, please, or I'll have to ban you. All right. Yeah, I used to know how to do
It's doing it, and it's disturbing. Oh
Yeah,
my
it
God.
used to be able to do it like smoothly. Haven't really tried that in a long time. And then there's the whole.
No, can't do that.
The water thing.
I can wiggle my nose.
Yeah, that took me like 6 years of high school. Yeah, that's right. I said 6. I know high school is only 4 years long.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Shanna, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much. And super chatters, you guys rock. I'll add it up. Shanna and I will split it. We'll get down with it. And what else? Lurkers, thank you. Replay team, if you're here like tomorrow, which is your today, your now, wow, you guys are bored or
You
loyal.
made it to the end.
And we love you. Yeah, you guys rock. You're our kind of people. Not much to do other than fish, I guess. Yeah. But you're hanging out with us and we love it. So thank you so much. And thanks for cheering me up, Shanna. Just seeing you always gives a smile to me. So I appreciate the costume and all. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out Shanna's stuff. I'll put the links in the description once this loads from StreamYard. It usually takes 24 hours, and then I go back in and update the info. But until then, it's 503 Aquatics, like it says on the screen, and you'll find her because she's got a picture of herself.
It's a cartoon.
In cartoon form. I used it on the thumbnail, that's the right word, of this video. I know lots of things about YouTube. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that everybody has a wonderful evening. Bye-bye. You have the last word, Shanna.
Bye.